All right, let's get right into it. Scaffolding is on pretty much every job site, but one single mistake can be absolutely catastrophic. So today, we're gonna put your safety eye to the test with a fast-paced quiz, all based on OSHA's rule book, 1926-451. Let's see if you can spot the structural flaw. Just think about that for a second. One missing part, one little shortcut. That's literally all it takes for the whole thing to come crashing down. The stakes? Well, they couldn't be any higher. So here's how we're gonna do this. I'll show you a photo from a real job site. Your job is to decide, is it OSHA compliant or not? And more importantly, can you name the flaw? I'll give you 5 seconds for each one, then we'll reveal the answer. Keep track of your score, and let's see if you can nail a perfect 10. You ready? Okay, let's kick things off with challenge number 1. Take a close look at this setup. You've got the scaffold legs sitting right on top of some loose bricks and a cinder block. I'm not seeing any proper base plates or mud sills. So what do you think? Is this compliant? Your 5 seconds start now. No way. That's not compliant. The flaw here is a totally improper foundation using makeshift supports. OSHA's rule 1926.451C2 is crystal clear on this. Scaffolds have got to sit on proper base plates and mud sills on a firm foundation. Why? Because those bricks and blocks can literally shatter under the load without any warning, and the whole rig comes down. On to challenge number 2. All right, in this picture, the scaffold's set up on some really soft, muddy ground. Looks like it just rained. You can actually see the legs already starting to sink in, and the whole structure is starting to tilt. So compliant or not? You got 5 seconds. And that's a big no, absolutely not compliant. The flaw is unstable footings on soft ground. OSHA requires that the footings be level, sound, and able to support the entire loaded scaffold without sinking or shifting. This is exactly why mud sills were invented, to spread that load out so the scaffold stays stable. Okay, next up, challenge 3. Take a good look at this frame scaffold. See how it's visibly leaning? It's kind of racking to the side. And if you look closely at the different sections, you'll notice that several of the diagonal cross braces are just gone. So is this a go or a no-go? 5 seconds on the clock.
Not compliant. And this is a huge deal. The flaw is the missing cross bracing. Those braces are literally the scaffold skeleton. They're what keep it plumb, square, and rigid. You take them out, and the whole structure has zero defense against swaying. It can just fold in on itself under its own weight.
All right, let's keep it moving. Challenge 4. Now we're looking up at the work platform. Check out those big, sketchy gaps between the planks. And there's a pretty big open space right next to one of the uprights. You see a worker getting ready to step on it. So, is this platform safe to work on? You know the drill, 5 seconds.
No, not even close. Not compliant. The flaw is obvious. The platform isn't fully planked. The rule, 1926.451B1, is super specific. There can't be more than a 1-inch gap between planks. This is a 2-for-1 hazard. You can easily twist an ankle or fall through, and it creates a perfect opening for tools to fall on someone's head down below. We are halfway there. Challenge number 5. Here we've got a worker on a platform that's, 2-3 stories up? It's way over 10 feet high. But look at the open edge of that platform. No guardrails, no personal fall arrest system, nothing. Is this setup compliant? 5 seconds. 100% not compliant. This is a huge one, everybody. The flaw is the complete lack of fall protection. Remember the OSHA 10-foot rule? Anytime you're working on a scaffold more than 10 feet off the ground, you have to have fall protection. There are no excuses. A fall from that height is life-changing, if not life-ending. All right, let's build on that last one. Challenge 6. In this picture, the scaffold does have a top rail, but look how low it is. It's only about waist high on the worker. And there's no mid-rail at all between that top rail and the platform. So is this guardrail system actually up to code? 5 seconds, go. Also not compliant. You see, just having a guardrail isn't good enough. It has to be the right guardrail. OSHA is very specific here. The top rail has to be between 38 and 45 inches high, and you must have a mid-rail. A top rail that's too low won't stop your momentum in a fall, and with no mid-rail, you can slip right under it. Okay, challenge number 7. This guy decided to forget the ladder. He's climbing up this side of the scaffold using those diagonal cross braces like they're rungs on a ladder to get to the work deck. Is this an acceptable way to get up there? Think fast, 5 seconds.
Nope. Definitely not compliant. You cannot use the cross braces for access. OSHA Rule 1926.451E1 flat out prohibits it. Those braces are there for structural stability, period. They are not steps, they're not handholds, and using them is a really great way to slip and take a very hard fall. Challenge number 8. Okay, what we have here is a tall, pretty narrow scaffold right up against a building. It's a few levels high, but if you look, there are no ties, no guys, no braces whatsoever connecting it to the building. It's completely freestanding. Is this thing stable? You've got 5 seconds.
Not compliant, and this one is seriously dangerous. This is a classic violation of the 4-to-1 rule. Anytime a scaffold's height is more than 4 times its narrowest base width, it must be tied into the building or otherwise secured. If it's not, it's just a top-heavy tower waiting for a gust of wind to knock it right over.
All right, challenge 9. What's interesting here is how often you actually see this happen on a job site. It's a rolling mobile scaffold, but there's a worker on the platform while the wheels are clearly unlocked. Or worse, maybe someone's pushing it while the guy's on top. Compliant or not? 5 seconds?
You got it, not compliant. OSHA has specific rules for mobile scaffolds for a very good reason. Before you ever step on that platform, the casters have got to be locked. An unlocked wheel can let the whole thing roll unexpectedly, and that's all it takes to throw you completely off balance and onto the ground. Okay, this is the last one. Let's make it count. This scaffold platform is just stacked to the gills with cinder blocks and heavy material. So much so that you can actually see the planks bending and sagging under the weight. So for the final time, compliant or not, your last 5 seconds, now. That is a definite not compliant. This is a classic textbook case of overloading. OSHA requires that every single scaffold component be strong enough to support its own weight, plus 4 times the maximum load you intend to put on it. When you see planks sagging like that, you're watching a structure on the absolute verge of a sudden, catastrophic failure.
So how do we prevent all 10 of these things from happening? Well, it really all boils down to one critical role on the job site: the competent person. This is the individual who's trained to spot all these hazards and, just as important, has the authority to stop the work and get them fixed. They are required to inspect every scaffold before every single shift.
So, how'd you do on the quiz? Whether you got a perfect 10 or maybe learned something new today, here is the checklist that really matters on the job. Always check your foundation. Install all the bracing. Make sure your platform is fully planked. Use guardrails over 10 feet. Tie it in when it gets tall. Use a proper ladder, don't ever overload it. And make sure a competent person inspects it every single day. These aren't just suggestions, these are the rules that save lives. If you want to learn more about workplace safety and OSHA rules, subscribe to HSE Study.